Hello, what is up, everybody? How's it going? What's up, Dylan? What's up, Chris? What's up, Jay Dandy, Raymond? Bros? Little, I think I have it a little dark, but I could turn it up in a minute. I'm actually using a different camera. I'm using my R5 because I wanted autofocus in case I decide to mess with the bike because the 5D just won't give it to me anymore. Let me know again about, as always, about the audio, but I went wireless as well. So I got the wireless mic on. Same thing. If you want to go over and mess with the bike, then I don't have to worry about moving that microphone around. So, yeah. Also, this is in the wrong spot. Give me a... No touchy Tim, no rude comments. Yeah, I was actually surprised by the response to the last video. I thought there would be some negativity. There barely was. A couple people saying I was oversensitive, which is obviously bullshit if you watch the whole video, because the point is that I'm not being oversensitive. I think it's stupid to talk shit to another cyclist to their face when you don't even know them. And I don't think that I'm right. It's stupid to talk shit to another cyclist that you don't know because of their bike. I mean, who in their right mind does that? So, and I also understand that some of the people have commented, like, maybe you took it the wrong way. I know when people are like, oh, wow, you rode that trail on a gravel bike, and they're not being shitty. I also know when someone is like saying something in a sarcastic way, and I've talked to a number of people who have gotten the same thing. So, yeah, just saying. So, but yeah, what's up, other Chris, Large Marge, Muskrat? Hey, what's up, Stoked? How you doing? Hey, William, how you doing? It's been a while. Oh, maybe not. You jumped in not too long ago, I guess. East Rim Job stickers in the works. I don't know. I think I'll keep that one. That one could stay for the people with their Strava ride titles. Hey, what's up, Sam? No, I didn't get in a fight. I was just saying, me and a couple other people have just noticed lately that, like, there seems to be an attitude predominantly from mountain bikers that when you ride your gravel bike to, like, off-road stuff, that they feel like they need to comment on it with something along the lines of, like, oh, how's the gravel grinding, or some weird stuff like that. That I've, like I said, it's happened to me a couple times, but I have a number of friends who have also brought it up, and not all of them are from around the area. So yeah, just kind of weird to me. So I don't know. I just pulled out my GoPro when I was riding to the mountain bike park and started talking about it. Then I'm like, yeah, I'll make a video about it. Why not? So I think, like, also the other thing is, like, you know, obviously I titled a video with the intention of, or the knowing that I'm going to get a bunch of comments, like, and people talking about it, either good or bad. But just in general, don't be a bro. Like, you know, people make some fun of crypto bros or tech bros. Just don't be a jerk about anything you're into. It doesn't have to just be bikes. I'm taking my socks off. My feet are hot. I have wool socks with my heavy slippers on. But yeah, just don't be a jerk to anyone in life that you don't, especially, I mean, don't be a jerk to people you know, but it's particularly weird to do it to strangers. Like, to just say something about someone's bike to a stranger. So, how's it going, Kevin? Yeah. Yeah, well, the wave thing too is funny because we always have the joke that roadies don't wave. But me and Aaron and Ben were riding the other day, and, like, we're just going down the towpath, and some guy looks, like, directly at all of us and just stares. And I was saying the same thing. I'm like, hey, you could check people out, but then you got to acknowledge their existence. Like, if you want to look at the people you're passing, you got to at least throw a hand up or say what's up. You can't just stare at people. It's so weird to me as well. I get, the only time I don't care when someone doesn't really wave or acknowledge you is when you could tell they're, like, hammering. They're like, they're going hard, and they're, like, in the zone, and they're out there for a workout, and they're not out there to be social. I'm like, whatever. But yeah, I do think it's weird to pass other riders and just be like, look at them and then not say anything, or just, like, look straight ahead. Like, didn't you go out to have a good time? Like you're out here like not having fun? Like you don't say hi to people? I say hi to pretty much everyone I pass unless they're doing something that really annoys me. You know, so how's it going, Josh? What's up? Waving as an arrow. Josh said it too. Show up at Eastern or Bedford on a gravel or a cross bike, and you get catcalled. Yeah, I don't. I don't know. Around here, it's even weirder. So, like, when we were out in Pennsylvania at Jake's Rocks, I heard it two different ways. One time, they did say gravel grinding, but I think they were definitely just more stunned that we were riding those bikes out there. And there are trails out there that I know I haven't tried to push it, but I know there's like, you know, Black Diamond or whatever you want to call them, trails out there that are supposed to have drops and some really gnarly stuff that we avoided. And that would be much tougher to ride on. We were sticking to the trails that our friends who have been there knew we could ride gravel bikes. But then there was someone else who did make it in a more snarky way. So, yeah, I just, like I said, one of my things is I think some people feel like they need to justify what they've bought, you know. But I'm wondering, I was wondering this and I didn't say it in the video, if there is some kind of mountain bike account on Instagram or YouTube where they've been saying that and they have this like attitude and that's what some of these people are picking up on. Like, so they've been told that they're supposed to feel this way and that's what they're going with. I would be willing to bet that there's something fairly popular in the mountain bike, like the full suspension mountain bike world. There's an account, there's a social media account somewhere where the guy has made like rants about people on gravel bikes, and he says like, how's the gravel grinding going? And that's what they're picking up on. Could be wrong, but I doubt it. I really feel that way, but who knows? So, and again, it's so funny because I don't like identify as like a gravel guy or a anything guy. It's like, I've ridden mountain bikes more in my life than anything else. I mean, even though they weren't like today's mountain bikes, I mean, that's what we rode. And we, like I say in the video, poached hiking trails and tried to find stuff to ride off-road when we were younger. But I also rode my mountain bike to work every day when I was in my 20s. I mean, mountain bikes, like when people say 90s mountain bikes are like, our gravel bikes are just 90s mountain bikes. Like, I don't really agree with that. I think Russ on Pathless Pedal did a really good job of explaining why they are different, you know, modern standards from disc brakes to the gearing or whatever, you know, wheel size, like all that kind of stuff. But I think the way they are the same is people rode like 80s and 90s, especially 90s mountain bikes for their bike, you know, and that's what I did. You just rode them everywhere. And then just like the reason I like my gravel bike now, I was never limited then in what I did with it. So, you know, if I was going to cut through something really grassy, when I used to always ride my mountain bike, it was easy to do that. And it wasn't horribly slow on the road. When I started riding, again, that's all I rode. It still had a suspension fork on it. And we would do like really fast road rides. And when I got a road bike, I realized, oh yeah, these are faster on the road. But it's not like I couldn't, you know, keep up with my friends, even if I had to put in whatever 20 more watts because of I was riding an old mountain bike instead of something on skinnier, more aero and, you know, different geometry. But yeah, I just think and once I got into road bikes, I really started liking drop bars and all the hand positions, and that's why once I got a gravel bike, that's why I like gravel bikes so much. I'm like, okay, I love the drop bars from road bikes, but I like having the wider tire size I used to have on my mountain bikes, and so there you go. That's to me. And I've said this a million times. I say it in the live streams. I've said it in videos. I think the term gravel bike is unfortunate. It's kind of what we're stuck with. But you think of calling my Trek, my winter bike now, a mountain bike. Ronnie said this in one of his speeches or something I just saw him post. There's no mountains where he is. There's no mountains around here either, but off-road, all-road, whatever you want to call them. Mountain bike is not actually the best term either. We're just so used to it. The same thing's going to happen with gravel bike, where people are going to be used to the idea that you ride it wherever. It could be dirt, it could be pavement, it could be mountain bike trails. That they're versatile, and that's why they're awesome. I know that ATB term we've talked about has come about. Jan Hein likes all road bike. If it has drop bars and it has wider tires, gravel bike is what people are going to call them, I think, and that's just the way it is, unfortunately, that the first term is the term that stuck because just like mountain bikes, when they were riding them out in California down the side of a mountain, that's the name that stuck. And gravel bikes, there were early gravel races, and that's the kind of bikes they were, and whatever. Putting wider tires basically on cross bikes at first, right? I think it's kind of the lineage. What's up, Whiskey 6? How's it going? Yeah, Josh said he always tries to tell people that they should be happy other people are using the trail, even people on hybrids. And yeah, that's the other thing too. I don't know if like maybe in more crowded places, there's like a vibe that people who are on less capable bikes are getting in your way. I have no idea. Around here, I like to go, and me and Aaron, and we usually go with Large as well. We like to go at off times, like Monday when people are usually working. We'll all like work out a time to go. One thing that kept me away from the mountain bike trails around here for a long time is I didn't want to be holding people up and I didn't want to be in the way. Now I realize that's part of the etiquette. Like you move aside for faster people, but everybody is allowed to use the trails and it's fair. But that being said, I still like to go out when there's not going to be people there. I don't go hit them on the weekends and stuff like that, or even usually on the evenings. But I have every right to if I want to. It's just that's just what I do. Tim is churching. Raymond, nobody on a rail trail is a pro. Just say hello. Well, very true. Chris said he's curious how many people buy mountain bikes just for road and path recreation. I think a ton, and I think way more used to. I think the hybrid and gravel bike has kind of taken over that, but on the low end of bikes, you still see a lot of those like Kmart bikes that look like mountain bikes out there. I don't think many people are buying the expensive full suspension mountain bikes, which is where kind of my whole bro thing came from. And I don't mean everyone who has one of those is a bro, but that's just usually where you're getting that attitude from, is someone with the, expensive carbon ibis or something. I don't know. But yeah. But I think a lot of, like I said, I bought, when I went into the store years ago, and the local bike shop that used to, well, it's still there, but I wouldn't go to anymore. When I walked in to get a bike, it was like, well, I want a mountain bike because I still want to be able to ride off-road when I want to. But this is the only bike I'm going to have, so I'm also going to ride it, like I said, to work every day. So, yeah. Downhill rountaineering with fenders. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Blackball? How you doing? What's up, Stefan? Stefan? What's up, Cosman? How's it going? So many cool bikes in all shapes. Yeah, and that's what I mean, I find tons of people who have mountain bikes like to ride a lot of things and do have other bikes for it. Like when I got back into cycling, my friends who had nice mountain bikes were coming on our group rides to go drink beer and ride on the road. Like I said, our one buddy Andy was riding his fat bike a lot of times on those rides. I think the reason, I said this in one of the comments to someone on the video, I think it's because when I got back into cycling, everyone I was riding with didn't care about like what you rode. Like Large was riding a fixed gear, like I said, my buddy Andy had a fat bike. My buddy Wes was riding a vintage Peugeot. Like it was just like, and I was riding my 2001 Trek mountain bike with shocks on it. Like no one cared. We all just wanted to ride. So I think as I got more into cycling and then like now going back out to the mountain bike trails to hear that stuff, I think that's why I find it so strange, or like it stands out to me, is just because that's not how I got into cycling at this point in my life. Like none of us were being like that. It was just like nobody cared, and you all learned from each other. And if you were into one thing, you started to realize why, oh, this might be a little better for what we do. And it's why now our rides, we used to have to talk about what bike to bring on our group rides. And now everyone usually just brings a bike that's gravel-ish, a bike that can go off-road, because most likely we're going to make some cuts somewhere. So, yeah. Oh, Cheesy Rider, awesome. Oh, I also looked at your photos of the side mount of your bag holder, and I forgot to respond. So I've done this twice, but I will tomorrow. because I need to get out of my get my email box cleared out. But I'm glad you got the straps, and I'm glad you like them. They're really cool. I think they would even work with what you have going on there. So, Stoked on Spoke said, "Have you watched Paul the Punter's Goodbye from Mountain Bike and YouTube? He mentions this about mountain bike culture specifically." No, but I will write that down to check it out. That's Paul the Punter. Huh. Yeah, we've talked about it before, and I know Dylan's talked about this a little bit because he goes to some of the like crazy like just downhill things. And where's the one in Ohio? There's one in Ohio that's like one of the crazy just super fast downhills, and people wait for turns to load their bikes into, I think he said, a pickup truck that takes them up to the hill and then they ride down. And there's the other trails that are ski resorts in the winter and there's snow lifts, and like I don't have a problem with that, but I think a lot of the broy culture comes from the people that do that and don't ever push a bike, like don't ever turn a pedal regardless. They're just like adrenaline junkies, and they have a downhill bike and they don't care about anything else, and they sometimes maybe once in a while show up at a regular mountain bike trail. I think that's a big part of the broy mountain bike culture as well. And again, it doesn't mean everyone who does that is that way, because Dylan's like the farthest anyone is from that, but goes to some of those places. But there is that segment, I think, that is very, very broy. The percentage of bros in that segment is higher than I would say in your, I don't know, ATB owning, demographic. So. Josh, yeah, you said you feel the same way about not holding up other riders. And when we went to East Rim, so what, a week ago, Monday now, we only passed one other guy, and you could tell same thing. He was a dude who was just out there to experience it and have fun, and he wasn't out there to get air or the KOM or anything like that. So, yeah. I actually ran into my friend on Black Friday, who is just a killer rider, and I think has the KOM for all of East Rim. He said he has the KOM for all of East Rim. I didn't follow up on it, but I'm in like 10,958. So, but yeah, and like he could be a competitive dude, obviously, because he's super fast. But again, he's still cool to talk to. He's not like, oh, you ride your gravel bike out there. He's like, oh yeah, it's fine on a gravel bike. He's like, I got the KOM on a hardtail. So there's all kinds. There's good people. There's weird people. Oh, Chris, you guys are already in Powder today? You said you bought a Trek Farley, 9.6 mile maiden voyage in fresh powder today. Nice. You said you're afraid you're going to like the rigid fat tail more than the hardtail. I could see that. Oh, that's right. I did see photos from Minneapolis today because Robin posted some with the snow. Yeah. He posted a picture of a couple bikes parked completely covered. It seems like Minneapolis has a really good just scene in general, though, right? I mean, so I'm not surprised to hear that the mountain bike scene is more friendly out there. Party size says it doesn't matter what bike ride, I judge you by what bandana you wear. Got the party size bandana on, and I think I was wearing a different color one in the video as well, the light blue one. Hey Ian, how's it going? Good morning from Singapore, or good evening from here, but yeah, morning in Singapore. Tim passes the vibe check tonight. Cosman, you were saying the industrial gravel Lovo is awesome. Thanks. I drew a really shitty version of that, and then I gave it to my friend who designed actually my photography stuff, like the Fitzwater photography logo in the corner, and had them like explain like what I was going for, and they made that for me. But the font, I asked them if they could do it in the same font, and that's not what I've used for everything on the channel. But yeah, I love the industrial gravel rides. I was saying like in that our ride down Old AP, the abandoned road, I enjoy some of that stuff more than the actual mountain bike trails, depending on what we're doing. But East Rim KOM must be fiercely contested. It's got to be. I watch because some of my friends who ride East Rim, like they'll ride it like almost every day of the week and do like 3, 4 loops out there. So yeah, I could only imagine. What's up, Master of Disaster? Use your mountain bike on greenways there in North Carolina. Yeah. Road bike seems to be a bit much for the twisting narrow path with others. Have touring bike on order that I will fit the greenways perfectly. Yeah. Yeah, because when I was really into riding my vintage bikes and I was riding like my Viscount Aerospace a lot, there were times like if the towpath would just crush limestone and I used that even just to get between places, was a little damp and stuff. It was sketchy on like, 30 mil tires and 28 mil tires and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I definitely could see there's like bike paths where you'd rather be on like a wider tire bike no matter what it is. Hey, what's up? Ronell, I assume that's how you pronounce that, Ronell? Yeah. Had an awesome ride last weekend. Hoping everyone is having a great week. Yeah, I got a good ride in tonight. I was trying to get work done, and at like 3 o'clock, it was hitting like 50 degrees here. And again, like we always say, the clock is just ticking this time of year. You never know how many days you get where you don't have to be all layered up and double gloved and bar mitts, whatever you do. So I got out and I rode like 30 some miles. I forgot to start Strava on time. So in his own, just wanted to get out the door and started riding. Got all the way into the Cuyahoga or into the Little Cuyahoga Valley before I realized it. But yeah. Do I have this on top chat? I feel like I'm missing some comments. Oh, yeah. No, I got it on the right thing. Blackball roadies think you're too mountain bike bro, and mountain bike bros think you're too roadie. Well, that's what Lanky, I guess Lanky's always our, what's the word? Token roadie, but it's basically he wears kit. He rides everything too. He rides mountain bikes, he rides gravel bikes, he races cross, but yeah. Cheesy Rider says the bicycle version of the movie The Warriors, making your way back to Akron. Stoke said he has a buddy in Minneapolis, says the culture out there is great. Yeah, this channel, I mean, after Akron, it's probably true of a lot of just cycling YouTube content. I think the number 2 like demographic or location has to be Minneapolis. Chris said river bottoms is sweet, easy mountain bike trail or tough gravel ride. It's really flat. Yeah, I watch a lot of the footage of like Robin and Pixel Wolf on Instagram, them riding all over along the lakes in Minneapolis. That looks so cool. I never know where anything really is, but Josh, you had a tough year with bikes? You're over proprietary tech. Gone back to your fat bike, 90 Stumpy, and your cargo bike. Stumpy is fast enough and your fatty gets rowdy enough. Nice. Yeah, having fun is the main thing. Yeah, that's, Kevin said, kill the roadies. It's so funny, and another thing I say all the time is just that I really enjoy like bike racing. Like I love road racing. I'll watch cross. I've watched a little bit of mountain bike stuff, and I watch actually some of the gnarly mountain bike videos that exist. Me and Aaron were watching a bunch the last couple weeks. But yeah, so it's funny because I really enjoy watching roadies race. And I have friends who are like actual serious roadies, but I just can't imagine only ever doing that. Like, but again, none of my even any of my friends who are roadies, it's not like they never do anything else. So, yeah, I can't imagine just always doing that. But I can't imagine always doing anything. I can't imagine always mountain biking or I don't know. So, to me, it's mixing it up is one of the fun things. The more I've got into cycling, There was a time where it was just mostly transportation for me, between when I was younger and riding a lot for fun, and then I had a period for a number of years where I just rode it. I lost my license and just rode my bike everywhere, and yeah. Dylan said Minneapolis is so good. Yeah. All right, Cosman, see you later. Appreciate it. Muskrat, you said you're impressed with all the terrain and conditions I put my Renee's tires through, New York City to mountain bike trails. Yeah, a couple people, just kidding, Kevin said, but yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I definitely wear them out fast, probably faster than most people. And they're expensive, but I really like them for everything. They just feel really good on the road, and then they feel really good on the mountain bike trails. And it's just, you could change the pressure a little bit. They feel good in the dirt when it's a little soft. They a lot of grab, but they just don't feel slow on the road. So interestingly enough though, my front tire for the last week or two has been, and I've seen this happen to other people, Large's bike, he showed it, Aaron's bike, but I've been losing sealant right through the sidewall sidewall threads. I think what might have happened is I might have burped the tire a little bit and then rode it a little too much without enough pressure, and maybe it kind of tore or separated the threads, whatever you want to call it, the sidewall. And now it's not holding. The front tire still has enough tread on it, so part of me is thinking of just throwing a tube in it, but even today I rode 30 some miles, put 35 PSI in it before I left and squeezed it when I got back, and it has to be, I'd guess 25 or below. So I've never had that happen with Renee's tires, but I've seen other people have like lose sealant through the sidewalls, and yeah, first time, and like I said, I wonder if I just kind of ruined it by running them a little low pressure in a certain situation, but yeah. Cheesy asks, so roadies don't give us shit like the mountain bikers? I mean, I guarantee there's roadies who probably, do, but I don't think they do it to our face, yeah, there's not, well, I guess here's the thing is like, when I pass a roadie or see a roadie somewhere, like it's usually like bam, or passing someone, whereas there's just more time. Like if you're on a mountain bike trail, say we are getting out of the way, or sometimes we're drinking a beer off to the side of the trail, or so I just you're all stopping at the trailhead or something like that. I just think there's more time, and when you're riding off road to actually talk to people, good or bad, than there is when you pass random people riding fast on the road, no matter what they're riding. So Josh said kids have the best mentality about riding, they just ride. Yeah, that's it. I was thinking about that, just to like think about me and my group of friends and how we've all kind of gravitated towards the gravel bike, but we were all riding completely different things when we started, the friend group I ride with now. But yeah, when we were kids, like my best friend rode a 10-speed and I rode my little Huffy dirt bike BMX thing, and we never thought about it. And when I say 10-speed, I just mean like 80s, 70s road bike. But if we were going to play baseball, he rode that thing right through the grass and I rode mine. And if we were going up to the baseball card shop and we were riding all roads, my BMX is what I had. And we went and explored probably farther than our parents expected through the suburbia we grew up in. But we never, I mean, I noticed he had a bigger bike than me. I remember it. It was a purple 10-speed. I can't even remember I think it might have been a Schwinn. But yeah, we never talked about it. It was never like, we should be riding the same kind of bikes. No one cared. We just had fun. How many miles do I get out of them? Muskrat, you're asking about the Renee Ursus. I actually have it marked down because I wanted to keep track. But I just replaced the rear and the spring, I believe. And I do have it in my phone. And I think the rear, I'm getting less than 2,000 miles out of. And the front, I usually only have to change the front once every, I'll go through two rear tires in the time I go through one front tire. But yeah, I think I'm getting less than 2,000 miles out of the rear. But they're supple tires, and that's a trade-off, you know what I mean? Dylan said when the threads are separated like that, it means you have been riding it long term at too low of a pressure. I think that's exactly what happened. I think a number of times I like might have burped the tire, or I didn't. I just wasn't paying enough attention because it's the front, which I don't know. I just noticed less. So yeah, I think I did separate the threads. Kevin asked if anyone has thoughts on Ultra Dynamico tires. I know there's a lot of fans of Ultra Dynamico in here. I haven't ran them, but Aaron's run them. Funny Brad runs them. They're both made in the Panda Racer factory. I know a number of people really like them and swear by them. Pudgy, I don't think Pudgy hasn't said what's up tonight if he's in here, but he's all about them. And they do the same thing Ultra Dynamico does as Renaers, where you could get them in different casing levels, where you could get like extra tough, or I think Renaers has what, 3 levels? Extra light, regular, and tough. Those aren't the terms they use, and Ultra Dynamico has 2 or 3 as well. So I always run the regular Renaers. I don't run the Endurance is what they call their extra tough ones, and then like ultralight maybe is their light ones. So I just run the normal ones. But Chris, you said winter riding makes you feel like a kid. No hurry, ride and smile. Yeah, when we have the right conditions to ride the bike pass with some snow on there, I do the same thing. I have a good time. Hey, what's up, Arthur? Arthur said, like Josh, he's having fun again riding your Specialized hard rock, and 90 Schwinn the tour after a summer of knocking yourself out riding with the roadies. Nice. Cheesy said roadies are more subtle in their insults. Yeah. See you, Anne. Glad you jumped in. Chris said, why do your sunglasses have 2 lenses? What do you mean? Oh, is this a joke that you... Is there a punchline to this? If that's a serious question, I don't have any sunglasses with 2 lenses. Muskrat, you had a purple Sears Spider 5-speed when you were a kid. Nice. Arthur said the roadies you meet usually say good morning when they drop you. Hey, what's up, Micah D? Oh, Raymond likes the Ultra Dynamico Rosés. Yeah, there's been a lot. Erin would be a good one to ask because she ran the Ultra Dynamicos on her Bombora at first, and now she's switched to the Renaers, whatever the ones she has on there. They're wider than mine. Mine are the 42 Hurricane Ridge, but they're the same tread pattern basically. But I think they're definitely good. They're both good, like boutique, more expensive, supple tires. What's my fastest bike? I would say right now, like my fastest bike, I have a Schwinn Peloton. It's a 1986, but it's got a Dura-Ace group set, 9-speed Dura-Ace group set. What is that? A 3T stem? Yeah, that's probably that's my like. It's the most slammed. It's steel, but it's still pretty light. It's got some those Bontrager Race Light wheels, which are pretty light and pretty dangerous, and some fairly nice 28 millimeter tires on it. Yeah, that's my fastest bike. My other fastest bike would have been, like, it's sitting right here. It's my trainer bike, but it's a Trek 1500, an aluminum 2007 Trek. Like carbon wrapped fork. I took all the components off that originally and put it on my 1982 Trek to make like my favorite like neo retro road bike build. But yeah, then I rebuilt it for the trainer with some 9-speed Shimano. But I still think over any kind of distance, my Schwinn Peloton would be faster than this Trek, just because it'd be a little more comfortable and it's a little more aero. But so I don't have anything that's like some super fast modern bike. And the Schwinn Peloton even has like a carbon seat post. It originally had carbon cranks. They're up there, but they broke. So it had carbon bars too, which were super sketchy. Yeah. So it used to be a little bit lighter, but it's still pretty light for a steel bike. Columbus SLX tubing. So I love it. It's really pretty. Someone had given it this new like a pink fading to white respray. But yeah, the way my back's been, this summer I never got on it once, but summer before it was fun. When I knew I was riding pavement, it was a lot of fun to just blast around on. But like I said, now anytime I get on my bike, I just don't know. Like today I mostly rode pavement, but then I took a couple gravel cuts and I was glad I had my gravel bike so I could do that. I just like get off the road for a while. I stopped and had a beer somewhere. So, you know. Raymond, you said you spend more time on your bike tires than your car tires. Yeah, I mean, I spend way more. I mean, way more time on my bike than in my car. Sometimes I get nervous that I haven't started my car in too long because modern cars don't like to sit. But yeah, I do love it when I get in my car to go somewhere and I'm like, man, I haven't been in this thing in a week, you know, so. Chris said steel was real, yeah. I rode this Trek 1500. It's a Trek 1500 SLR. I did ride it for a summer. I put a lot of miles on it out on the road, and it was like fun to climb on. And like, you could feel the stiffness of the oversized aluminum tubing and stuff like that. And it just, you know, it felt like it climbed fast, you know, and stuff like that. But it was so uncomfortable over any kind of decent distance. So I know some people named Ronnie Romance have said that frame material doesn't matter for compliance, and I don't think it's true at all. So even on wider tires, I still think frame material is something you can notice. Like I said, made that whole video about Otis's War Road before he sold it, and that had wider tires than anything else I ride, and like on the chunky stuff, it was so stiff, it would bounce me all over the place. And I, again, felt like when I would be climbing on that bike, it felt like a rocket. But yeah, no one's gonna tell me that bike wasn't stiffer than my steel bikes. That's just no way. Like, I feel like I don't know, I feel like some of my steel road bikes, even like thin ones, are just on thin tires where like, man, just had more give. Compliance, I guess is the word, right? It's nice to have dedicated fast bikes. Some days you just want to fly. Yeah. And in a normal year, or maybe I'll never have a normal year again, like health-wise, but yeah, there's those times where you just want to go out and just like go fast and you barely bring anything, just, you know, an extra tube and the pump and all that. But yeah, that definitely becomes rarer and rarer for me, unfortunately. But Muskrat, you asked, did I say Aaron wants to get another mountain bike after the East Rim ride? Yeah, she was kind of talking about getting something like, you know, a hardtail with front shocks or something with a little more modern geometry. She was even looking at our buddy Andy, who sold her Surly Pacer, had a Surly, what would that be? Would that be I don't know if Large is still in here, a Karate Monkey? Trying to remember what, Karate Monkey, is that right? I don't know. He had a Surly he would consider selling. She also wouldn't mind having a dropper, which I understand because, sorry, I can't move from the mic, but as you guys probably know, or maybe some of you know, like those 90s mountain bikes, no matter how you build them up, you do feel like you are very up on top of them, and she doesn't have enough room. I feel like if she put in a dropper mechanism, there wouldn't be enough travel in the dropper to make it worthwhile, where, you know, with the slanted tubes on modern bikes, you would actually be able to drop it way down. We'll see. We'll see how far she goes with this. So, sticker idea to remember to start your car. Yeah. Sam said Karate Monkey. Must be what it is. Stoked on spokes. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I have a picture of we were riding with Andy, but I didn't make a video about that ride. I put a couple clips in. I don't think I have it, but it's yellow. Yeah, I think it is a Karate Monkey. What's up, B-A-H? How you doing? What's up, Nathan? $100 for the Schwinn? No, that's $100 for the frame. 150 for the frame, but yeah, not for those components. If I stopped riding that bike, I would keep that Dura-Ace group set for sure. I don't think I would sell it as a complete. I think I paid $300 for it as it was, but I've changed some things. So The race light wheels aren't worth a lot because they're really light and they're cool with a very, they only, if you ever haven't seen them, they don't have a ton of spokes. They have like a star spoke pattern, but they're supposed to be not the best for longevity. Like people break spokes and break the rims on them and stuff like that, but they sure look cool, so. Yeah, that Schwinn, I guess it is something if I stopped riding I would sell, but I don't even know if it'd be worth it because I probably would strip everything off it and keep everything on it. You know. Man, it's been, what, 3 weeks since I've had the flu, and it's only when I talk a lot or when I first get done with a ride, I still have that cough that just hangs on forever. Surly Bikes for the win, yeah. Oh, no, Stoked. It's definitely a more modern Surly than the Instigator because it's not 26-inch wheels. I almost, man, looking at that bike, it almost looks like a 29er, but it probably isn't. It's probably just a smaller frame because that's why Andy and Carrie are able to ride a similar, Carrie, that's my sister, Aaron are able to ride a similar bike because it would be a little smaller, so, yeah. Let me look up. Let me just Google yellow karate monkey, then I'll know if that's it. Oh wait, yellow or was it orange? Now I'm throwing myself off. Yeah, I feel like it was yellow, but now I'm thinking, was that just because she's riding a yellow bike and I'm mixing it up? Oh yeah, yeah. 2016 Surly Karate Monkey, that looks like it. Yeah, I'm almost 90% sure that's what it is. Is there any more pictures? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so you can see the more modern geometry, the slacker head angle, and then the 27.5 on those tires. But yeah, the room that you would have to put a dropper on there. So. Is the Krampus a mountain bike? I guess, and the Krampus kind of a fat bike, which I guess, when is a fat bike a mountain bike? I guess always, right? I don't know. Chris, you said you could get the Karate Monkey in 29 or 27.5, so. Yeah, this is the one. I think I'm almost positive this is the exact one. I mean, not the exact bike, but the exact model year. If they only made it in this color once, that is. But. Dylan said the suspension fork it comes with would be nice. I think it's 130 millimeter travel. Huh. Travel numbers mean nothing to me. And I mean, I hear everyone say them, so I have an idea of what the ranges are, but I just, since I don't have anything like that, and I wouldn't know what the travel used to be on my old RockShox that were on my '01 truck, but. So Stoked, you said that, oh, that would be Krampus would be a mountain bike plus, yeah. Krampus is a 29 plus rigid mountain bike. Okay, yeah. Same geometry as the Wednesday. So the Wednesday is the fat bike, the Krampus is 29 plus. Gotcha. Hey, what's up, Nuka-Cola Nate? Oh, you have the same bike, Stoked? I don't know if I'm trying to remember if I've seen an episode where you've shown that one. Chris said everyone with a Karate Monkey loves it. Huh. Yeah, I told her I think she should wait. Unless Andy has a good deal on that bike and he's really trying to unload it, then the right time to buy something is when it exists, when it's there. But because she's about to probably put the Cannondale back into winter mode, you know, it's so hard to know in Northeast Ohio, but you know, to put the studded tires on it, because she built that up kind of as her winter bike last year, and then Large got her some nice mountain bike tires, and she put those on for the summer, because she was just riding her Bombora like I ride my gravel bike as the mountain bike, but she's been enjoying riding the Cannondale, which is a '92 CAD, whatever. I don't. I'd have to look at a picture to know which one it is. And Otis told me he thinks it's 91 or 92. I haven't even looked it up. But yeah, I was telling her just wait till the spring and then see how she feels. But she's gone out to the mountain bike trails on her own now. So even one time last week, at Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving she went out and rode the mountain bike trails on her own. So it does seem like something she's really enjoying. So, and plus the Karate Monkey is still rideable, right? When you guys consider like you could still go ride to the bike trails if you wanted on a Karate Monkey. You don't, and still do gravel rides on it. So it's not like it'd be a total waste. Only a bike that she put on her car and took to the trails. So. Chris, you said, I'd love a hardtail. Yeah, don't worry about holding people up. People are almost always friendly. Yeah, I get that. I like the idea of going when I don't even have to worry about it. But Master of Disaster said, what is the basic difference between a fat bike and a mountain bike? Just the tires, just the clearance. Fat bikes, I don't know what size tires become fat bike tires. You guys probably know better than me when it goes to plus to fat. Like I don't know what where that line is, but that's it. I mean, fat bikes are mountain bikes. Otis, who owns Dirty River, describes fat bikes as mountain bikes for old people. I know they're more than that. Minneapolis, people ride them a lot because they're snow bikes too, really good snow bikes. But yeah, tire clearance is the difference between calling something a fat bike. But like anything in the cycling world, there's no hard and fast lines. You know, when does a gravel bike become a drop bar mountain bike? You know, there's no real definition. If you put drop bars on the Karate Monkey, what is it? You know, everything's on a spectrum, right? Muskrat said, Otis owned a Karate Monkey you would have purchased if it was one size smaller. Yeah. Oh, stoked. Shameless plug. Yeah. You love the Karate Monkey. Uh, wish you would have gone for the 29 wheels over the 27 5s. Yeah. It's weird when I think about that because I'm like, I always think, because I rode it, I remember renting a 29er when I was on vacation and like I was only still riding my 26-inch mountain bike at the time and I loved the feel of that. But now it's funny because like I went on a bike tour this summer that was just like a tour on my 26 inches and they didn't bother me. But the Karate Monkey, yeah, I'm wondering because where the line is between like being maneuverable and being able to roll over stuff really well. I don't know. My experience between 29 and 27.5 isn't enough to have a strong opinion on it, obviously. Chris said fat bikes typically have longer chainstays too. Dylan said if the Karate Monkey is set up 29 with some cross-country tires like 2.3, the 2.5 range, the fast tread would be totally fine to ride on the trails. Yeah, and I think that's, we were going on a kind of gnarly ride, but Andy was riding, I was riding the Rally. I think Aaron was riding the Bombora. Andy was riding the Karate Monkey. Some people were riding fat bikes. It was a whole mix. We were doing like the industrial gravel, off-road type stuff, explore stuff as Otis calls it. But Stokes said, oh, the suspension fork you got is overkill, 140 millimeter travel. Huh. Wish you would have gone with 100 or 110 because it changes the geometry too much. Huh. Yeah, I guess I haven't thought about that factor as much either. If I ever did get a hardtail with a suspension fork again, like that would all be stuff that I would have to ask. I'd probably crowdsource everyone here's opinions, For right now, I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to see if I end up, when I end up building up the gunner, what that feels like, so. You bought a Polygon Premier 4 last spring to ride trails and you're pretty satisfied with it? Not sure what that looks like. Oh, they make all kinds of stuff. I don't, yeah. Oops. Gunner plug. Yeah, like you guys always say, any chance to talk about the gunner? No, I mean, like I said, I didn't even intend to build another bike, but there we go. Do have some parts for it. We'll talk about it when there's enough parts to think about. Like I said, the main holdup to me on the gunner will be uh, getting a wheel set built that, because it needs to be what disc and the bike's boost spacing, and the fact that I kind of want something with sweep bars because I have enough. If I'm going to do something different, that means I don't have a group set for it. Whereas if I was going drop bars, I'd have plenty of stuff to use for the most part. But yeah, maps, J. Dandy, you've missed a lot of maps heavy episodes. Stoke said, you think your mentality of how you like to ride trails has changed. You've been thinking about getting a cross-country hardtail that is more of a gravel bike with suspension. Yeah. Yeah, then again, you live in Colorado. It's just, right, Colorado? Yeah, where we are, I just feel like it's Hampton and East Rim, and I'm going to ride to get to them. And yeah, I think I could definitely make a hardtail work. I just don't think it's necessary. I think, like I said, putting fatter tires on the gunner, like, because the gunner has clearance, is going to be enough for me and what I do. But I'm not, like I've always said too, I'm not, I've gotten to this point in life without being super extreme. Like, I like to do fun stuff, and I just don't think I'm really ever going to be like sending it and like getting the wheels off the ground. I don't think that's like a skill I'm all of a sudden going to develop. So I just don't think, I think like for anything that gets a little too gnarly, I'm fine just going slower. Like I said, walking the rock arms at Eastern, but we'll see when put a suspension fork on the rally and call it a day. I could never. Yeah. I, if I was going to have suspension on anything, it'd be more of a mountain bike. I'm just not huge on suspension on gravel bikes. I, I guess the way Lauf does it is kind of cool because I've ridden those and it's still very light. Uh, Not that I'm a weight weenie or anything, but yeah, I don't know. I like my gravel bike to feel like a road bike when I'm on the road because there's just a lot of road riding to get to anything. And like I said, unless I'm going on vacation, my bike is rarely going on a bike rack. I'm riding out my door. So I said riding East Rim was a 35-mile ride, and 8 miles of it was mountain bike trails, and most of it was paved. So that's where that kind of... Josh said riding Honda Hills or the salt mines is more extreme than most mountain bikers will ever get, which is true. And this is kind of one of the, around here, yeah, around Northeast Ohio for sure. But this is one of the points I was kind of saying in the videos, like we used to ride the 90s mountain bikes like on the hiking trails and stuff, when we were poaching stuff because nothing else existed, or exploring places like Honda Hills and the salt mines because like that's what you had, but those things weren't designed for bikes. So a lot of times, like when I go to Hampton, like my gravel bike is totally fine because it's designed for bikes. It's flowy, it's got the right, it's fast, it's smooth, reasonably smooth. So yeah, when I used to have to avoid stairs or weird drops or all that kind of stuff, or when we go off road and we don't know what you're gonna find, it's like, yeah, a lot of times that stuff is more gnarly. And like, I've said that before too, like East Rim, I feel like rock gardens and stuff like that are intentionally put there to justify more expensive bikes. So the people who ride there and like more and are the people who work on the trail, so they should be able to have some leeway. But they're not even necessary. It's not like we're actually going over a rocky area. They've just stuck a bunch of rocks there to make it something that's a challenge, you know, so. Bombing down old AP is worthy of a mountain bike? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that's going to happen when I ride my gravel bike. I'm just going to slow down more than someone who might have suspension or the bike that's built for it, so. What's the disadvantage of riding a mountain bike on the road? The tires you're probably going to have on your mountain bike are probably going to be a little slower. The geometry also feels sluggish on the road. Some of it's perception. I think a little bit of it's true. You know, it just doesn't have like the shortest chain stays of like a road bike just feel really zippy. And I've always said perception is reality on certain things. If you feel fast, you go faster. But, and you know, I know most suspensions now, right, you can lock them out, but like on my old, like when I used to just ride my truck with a suspension fork, you're wasting all that energy, you know, when you stand up and pedal and your fork's bouncing up and down, which used to be annoying, which is why I put a steel fork on my old mountain bike. But hey, what's up, Blanky? Yeah, you said you're 10 to 15 seconds on the faster on the mountain bike than you are on your gravel bike going down old AP. Yeah, there's some sketchy where the pavement is totally washed out, then you hit gravel, and then the pavement picks back up that you got to get over. Whereas, yeah, that's where like a hardtail with suspension fork would make you much faster on a ride like that. Or like you said, 10 to 15 seconds faster, so. Underbiking is just, per car 70, underbiking is just a term for people who can't ride hardtails and use the bike as an excuse. What a stupid comment. We got a stupid comment of the night winner here, because I don't own a hardtail. It's not that I can't ride a hardtail. I could order one tonight. I don't want to spend, at this point, another couple $1,000s on a bike that I won't ride that much, like ride enough to justify the cost. Like, we do some stuff around here where, like, when you're in the moment, a fat bike is the perfect bike. But this is what I always say: if I ride a ride that's 40 miles, and 3 miles of it is fat bike material, I'd rather be on the bike that's better for 37 miles of it. And that's the same thing I'm saying about East Rim. Like, to make a round trip out to East Rim, for me to turn it into a round trip to make it a fun ride, that was a 35-mile ride. 8 miles of it was East Rim. So you know. Oh, sorry, Percar. I did misread your comment. You said hard trails, not hard tail. Gotcha. So, underbiking is just a term for people who can't ride hard trails and use the bike as an excuse. Yeah, I think yeah, maybe. There's definitely stuff that you can't ride certain bikes on. I think that would be, it's not fair to pretend like, you know, I always use Terry B as an example because he's a channel that I watch all the videos he puts out. But when he's out riding in Sedona and those trails just look like a pile of rocks, there is no way I would try and ride those on my Raleigh. Or as Rusty had told me, and Patty Redbeard, when our friends went and rode the Fool's Loop in Arizona, and me and Large were considering going with them, I think it was Rusty who wrote, "Do not attempt the Fool's Loop on a bike that only can clear 42 millimeter tires." So I underbike a lot, and and like I said, I think that's where a lot of the comments come from that I was talking about. Like when we're out at Jake's Rocks, people are surprised that some of us are riding gravel bikes out there, because they wouldn't consider that a place where you should not, they consider it a place where you should be on a mountain bike, and a lot of the trails are like that. But yeah, I do think there are things that are not rideable on certain bikes. And like I said, I used to drag my vintage you know, road bikes over the industrial gravel and stuff like that. And I can do it. Like a lot of the stuff we ride around here, especially the straight flat stuff, you're getting bounced around and you just pedal like crazy and you pedal like mad and you keep going and you can do it. I've done it. You get to the point that it's like, why do that? You know? And that's what's come to me, where it's like, that's where I'm going to ride a bike on 42s. And that's even now getting in my friends group on the narrow side. But, you know, there's stuff you can do and there's stuff you can't do. I definitely watch mountain bike videos on YouTube and Instagram where I don't have a single bike where I would ever consider going out there, and it's not my skill level. I mean, even if I bought the nicest bike in the world, I probably couldn't do it. But the best rider would still not ride my bike on those trails. So, sorry I misread your comment, but I still think that's not entirely true. But it's not as bad as I thought it was. So, I'm definitely willing to admit when I make mistakes, and I've changed my mind on things over time by riding and evolving. So. Oh, you're going to come out again, Jay Dandy? So for anyone in the area, that's Sunday, yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of the Krampus Cross. So it's cross race, and it's also the Ohio State championship for cross, which doesn't really mean a lot because I think that race had like 12 riders in it, and one was from Pennsylvania. But still, it's a really cool course. It was last year. It's at Camp Manitowoc in the Cuyahoga Valley, so it's a good ride to get out there to watch the race and hang out. And then you could also sign up and jump in the race day of usually. And they do have a fat bike section and stuff like that. So, Jay Dandy, you love watching Faces of Death. Oh, I missed your race last year, Lanky. I think, did I get there in time? No, I don't think I saw you ride. Rock grinding. Hey, what's up? What's up, D'Amico? Looks like someone's been grinding the gravel. Yeah. What time are we at? I haven't looked at my Marin at all. I should change the title of this live stream to Tim Rants About Mountain Bikes Again. I'm going to do that. What's a good title? I think I could do this while it's on. Yeah, right? Thumbnail will make less sense, but we're also not looking at this bike, so I don't want people to click on it to think I'm messing with it when I'm not. I'm on a real. This is the only beer I've had tonight, by the way. So and it's been over. I think I cracked it at like 8, over 2 hours. So I don't know why I'm so ranty. I'm not drunk, you know. Here, I'll show you guys as I'm doing this. Ranting About Bike Bros Live. How's that for a title? I'll change the description later. 302 Mountain Bike said, underbiking turns most trails into a good time, really helps build up the bike skills and line choices. It's kind of interesting because I've said that to other people before, like, and I think I say it in the video, like, having like a more capable bike would just mean you went faster, right? I mean, for the same skill level of riding, right? So I think it's equally as fun and exciting. And yeah, for sure, there's definitely times where I do think people are overbiked sometimes these days. I think, super awesome, expensive mountain bikes like are a little overkill for Hampton. I think it would maybe take the fun. Well, I've watched Dylan ride Hampton on his bikes, which are very nice bikes, but they're not like a full suspension carbon bike. And like we've gone over some of the there's some pretty cool steep descents at Hampton Hills. And the other, East Rim's what we've been talking about, but Hampton Hills is the other park around here. And he goes out of sight on me like that. Like, like the skill level difference is gigantic. And he's not riding, a full suspension $5,000, like, I don't know, like I always go back to Ibis. That's I don't know, Transition or whatever mountain bike that exists out there that's super expensive, So Yeah. So I think there is fun to underbiking in a way, and our trails are very underbikeable around here. Or maybe they're very overbikeable, if that makes sense. So, all right, see you, Josh. Hey, what's up, Diversity? How you doing? Hey, what's up, other Joshua? So one Josh out, another Josh in. Maps? What do we, oh, should I show where the, I could definitely show where the trails around here are for the non-locals. Would this be better with satellite? A little much. So let's, I clicked on mountain bike areas. Come on. Yeah, so for me, this isn't exactly how I would ride there. I would actually, go way out of my way because I like to, that road sucks.
Joshua Doss became a member.
Thanks, Josh. Truly appreciate it. I think, Josh, that have I sent you something before? If not, DM me somewhere so I have your address. But I think I feel like I have. I don't know. If not, DM me. I'll send you some stickers. But appreciate it. Yeah, so I'll ride the 7 miles over the 4 miles to go a way that's more comfortable. But I'll go down the trail into the valley, and then this Tice Road is a climb. You could see here. How many feet is that? Yeah, considerable. It's cut off on the screen. 236 feet up, but yeah, not crazy, but. Can we see what it looks like? Oh, biking map. There we go. Still not showing the trails, is it? Oh, that's weird that it's not showing the trails. It's funny because there's actually, to get to the one section of trails at Hampton Hills, there's a double track gravel road. That's how you actually get to the downhill part. The cool thing about Hampton that surprised me about Eastrim is Hampton drops all the way into the valley. So where Hampton Hills is this is the edge of the valley, but the river is all the way down here. That's actually the sewage treatment plant for Akron that you drop all the way down by. But when we rode East Rim, it doesn't drop all the way down. So East Rim actually is never as steep, and there's not as much climbing, I wouldn't think. So that's an interesting route. It shows me out to East Rim. Again, I went way out of my way to take the bike pass. So stop it. Yeah, I went something more like that to get out to the hike and bike trail and make it a more enjoyable ride. I didn't ride 19 miles though, so this is not quite exactly right, but you know. Okay, so they only show phase 1. So East Rim, there's this trail here, but now there's another one past the turnpike, which they're not showing, which is in here. Anyways, there you go, Jay Dandy, a little bit of maps for one of the OGs. Oh, that's right, Josh. You ordered a bunch of stuff last week. I'll check your order and I'll send you anything I didn't send you already. So that's right, yeah. 302 mountain bike said 120 front, rear, and travel is most all people need on full suspension bike. Enduro bikes are definitely overkill for what most people ride. Yeah, enduro bikes are just for basically if you're going to parks where they're like taking you to the top, right? And I made a video about it, but I didn't get to ride it the way I really wanted to. I borrowed a full suspension bike from Otis, but I only got to ride it on the industrial gravel and around a little bit. I need to I would have liked to have got to try it on the mountain bike trails, but the weather and the timing and everything never worked out for me. So again, I wrote it, I talked a little bit about my opinions, but I was very clear on that I didn't get it tried in the situations it was designed for. Biased, have I ever been to Snowshoe? No, I've never been to any of the Western. I haven't ridden my bike in any of, like, anywhere like it that's like a ski resort. So. Hey Keith, what's up? Oh, you saw me in Asterix on Saturday night? Didn't get a chance to say what's up. That was probably all right. I had gone out with my family for the Ohio State game and then rode over there, so I was a little buzzed. Or maybe that would have been the right time to say what's up. But hey, how's it going? The green and blue flow trails sound so much fun. Oh, you were saying that about Snowshoe. Where? Wait, is Snowshoe the one out here? Where's Snowshoe? We go back to the maps. Oh, West Virginia. Gotcha. It would take me 28 hours to get there on my bike. Let's, yeah. 5-hour drive, so. Yeah. Single speed mountain bike riding is a worthwhile experience. Yeah, we don't have Rusty in here tonight. Rusty is the one who's like all about the single speed mountain biking. I have a couple friends though who have single speed mountain bikes as well. A couple other friends. Dylan said Snowshoe is fun. The green and blue trails are mellow, but the black trails are insane. We should zoom in on that actually. They don't have a bunch of the bike trails marked either. We are on biking, so yeah. Whoops. D'Amico said, did you ever ride at Rising Valley Park back in the day? Yes. That is the place, I believe, and I was trying to remember in the last video, D'Amico, that I was talking about me and Wes poaching the trail with the big no bike sign right when we got there. That is I'm almost 100% sure that is the exact place. I'm going to copy that and put it up because I was trying to remember what it was, and I was like, Riding Valley, Rising Sun, Valley, yeah. All right, Stoked, see you later. Says he's out. Good chat. Keep underbiking weird. I love that. Joshua asked, where do I personally stand on gravel bikes quickly turning into trail bikes in competition? I'm actually not familiar with that. I don't know enough about it. So people are riding gravel bikes in mountain bike races is what you're saying? Blackball is into the single speed mountain bikes. Nice. Chris Alto said, unpopular opinion, blue flow trails are more fun than black trails. That's my speed, but yeah, depends on your skill set. Impossible route, impossible bar hop route? What are you guys talking about? Sam, single speed is all you need? Yeah, is all you need. All right, see you 302 mountain bike. Thanks for dropping by. Chris said that new dual suspension Diverge is gross. Yeah, yeah. Oh, is that what you were kind of asking? Yeah, yeah. I do need to look up Rising Valley. I can't remember where that was, and I'm 90% sure that's the exact place I was talking about. Whoops. Oh, Richfield, that is it. Yeah. Yep. That is exactly where me and Wes parked the car, and we're like all ready to say we're just playing dumb, and walked up, and then there was just clear as can be a no bike sign. Yeah. Huh. Oh, it's off Broadview. It's off 176 past Teschner's. Okay. This would make sense. This is what we knew about too, because this isn't far from where we went to high school. Where do you park? Oh, is this the lot? Yeah. Yeah, I don't even remember who told us about it. Someone's like, oh, that's where you should go and ride your mountain bikes. See you, Lanky. He says, hoping we can convince Tim to fat lacrosse this weekend. Man, that route looks so brutal. I don't know. We'll see. I'll be there on my rally, so as long as it's not raining. Unless it's raining real lightly. Flow trails are always better, Master of Disaster says. You would have driven hours. Yeah, flowy stuff is the best, yeah. What's up, Blake? Blake asked if I'm ever interested in creating my own bike company. I mean, like anyone, I think I daydream about different components and different bike stuff, but I don't have the knowledge. I don't think I'm really would be bringing anything to the table. Like when I look at Wild Bikes, which I really like, the guy who helped found All City, and I like look at like what he's explaining that he's doing with geometry. I don't feel like I'm picky enough to need, or that gives me I'm picky enough there, or that gives me enough of the knowledge to do that. I do like the idea of creating something unique and cool, but I don't think it would be a bike frame. So if I ever finally come up with an idea that's better than stickers, I would do it. But yeah, Blake, I don't think I have that. I think I could probably help market it with someone who knew the kind of things that they needed to do, and be a partner in something like that. But definitely I'm not when I listened to the founders of Crust, he was like creating a bike that he couldn't buy. That's what he felt like he was doing. I'm not in that position. So the other thing is now I feel like it's also becoming, I mean, I think there could be a ton of bike companies, but I think you're getting to the point where you either need to be like full on custom and you're welding the bikes, or you're doing something bigger. I think the middle is getting crowded. Maybe I'm wrong, but. Oh, 28-hour ride to Snowshoe could be my impossible route. Large and know what's up. All right, yeah. Hey, what's up, Dimitri? Completely off topic, what is the coolest thing I've made of spare bike parts? What about my Christmas wreath right here out of my old Velocity rim that I ruined? I put this together for you guys right before I came on. That's why you could see there's still just a pile of lights in the corner, because I ran out of time during the intro. But I actually haven't, I can't weld or anything like that. I haven't made anything super cool out of spare bike parts. I think Otis told me when I took the carbon bars that were really sketchy off the old Schwinn Peloton, I should make a coat rack out of them or something, but I haven't. So Tim is going to buy a mountain bike. I haven't used Trail Forks, but I know a lot of people do, and it's supposed to be good. I most Google Maps, a little bit ride with GPS, heat maps on Strava. Mostly I just ride and wonder what's down that road, or friends have pointed something out. Me and Large actually will specifically go on a bike ride because we saw something once, and we'll go and see if that goes somewhere. And if it doesn't, if it's a little dead end, we both have a beer in the bag and crack a beer and drink it, then go and try and check something else out. So I actually probably do most of my exploring by just actually going out and exploring. But Trail Forks is supposed to be good, but I have no opinion on it because I haven't used it. Or I've looked at it maybe a couple times. But don't you have to pay, right? Said you're buying a bike you can't create. Master of Disaster said yes on Trail Forks. Mountain Bike Project is a great app as well. Yeah. So there's not like, I mean, around here there really are, I know where all the actual mountain bike trails are, so the explore stuff is something different, I guess. But Charles says, the engineer who designed the diverged suspension is related to the person who invented the campy Delta brakes in the 80s. I mean, talk about just over-engineered stuff that is just destined for the landfill. Yeah, I don't know. All that stuff is just, yeah, I don't. It's like when they were putting the suspension forks, what were they, RockShox on road bikes in the early 90s to ride Paris-Roubaix. It's like, I don't know. I feel a funny thing that's happening in road bikes too is they've been like, for years, they've been making these, like, how stiff can we get this bike? How stiff can we get it? And then they're like re-entering like suspension into a different part of the bike, like that overcomplicates it. That's fine for pros. I mean, like, they're going to have a professional mechanic work on that thing. There's 3 more bikes on the top of the car that's following behind them. But for your normal person, why any normal person would buy this garbage, like it just doesn't make any sense. Like, just get a bike that's not that stiff in the first place. You could buy a really expensive steel bike that has compliance and is lightweight. Like, the idea of like engineering something so intense and so stiff and then going back and adding expensive components to give it compliance is just so ridiculous. Like, I mean, right? I totally get the joke you're making, Charles, because those Delta campy brakes are like beautiful and they look cool and they're not supposed to be that good. So Josh said, feels like market saturation for bike companies, big and small. Yeah. And then definitely the bike boom with, we're on the downside of that too. Christmas wheel is not a bad idea. Thanks. Josh says, what is everyone's go-to waterproof bike clothes? Any that don't make you sweat that much? I think there's a line there. I think there is really nice waterproof stuff that's super expensive that does breathe a bit, but I feel like anything that keeps you truly dry is going to be like too hot, I'm lucky, like here in Northeast Ohio, like we do have a lot of chilly, rainy days, but I could just mostly avoid them. Like those are days like, like if I lived in the Pacific Northwest, like if you guys watch Dustin Klein, I totally understand why he's always working to figure out the waterproof stuff because it rains all the time and it stays in that temperature zone where it's not quite getting to freezing and snowing out there. So I'm kind of one of those guys, like once it starts to drop below 60, and if it's really wet, I'm not riding until it gets below 30 and it's snow. But you out, Master? See you later. Yeah, you guys are talking about the bike industry and the way they're doing things. Yeah, it's weird. I also think like the major brands, and I know Russ on Pathless Pedal talks about this, like taking all their gravel bikes and moving them to the racing end of the spectrum is kind of a weird move. But I also kind of like it because it leaves that space open for the companies I now care about. The All Cities, the Crusts, just the cooler bikes, Statsos or whatever. So it leaves the space of like a bike that could still be fast, but it's not designed just to race gravel on. It's designed to ride all the time on, tour on, do whatever you want on. I just think it's weird to watch the big brands just always steer everything towards racing. Like I don't get it. It's like they do the low end or the totally like chill hybrid end of the market and then the fast end and just leave this big gulf. And that's why all these other bike companies have been able to pop up, I think, but because they have better ideas about what people actually want to ride. So the Lefty by Cannondale, that's kind of a long-lived product though, right? Lenke has an older one, but I guess when it comes to suspension, is that any different than any suspension? Like all suspension's going to wear out, right? Arthur said you're looking into state bikes. They make decent 4130 frames, everything from single speed to gravel. Yeah, and they save you a lot of money. Who? I'm trying to remember if it was, like a lot of people have bought state bikes and really like them. I think they have a spectrum of quality too. You know, you could definitely save a lot of money by buying a state, and they make decent frames. Shake Dry, Muskrat, wasn't there just an article today about Gore-Tex Shake Dry being, they're stopping making it. I think they haven't announced why, but there might be a chemical in it that's become illegal, or maybe they're about to announce something better, but I literally just saw this somewhere, that Shake Dry is not going to be made anymore. So, Sam said you either sweat or get wet. You haven't had any luck in the middle ground. True. Me and Large last year when we were touring Connecticut, there was one day where there was an actual nor'easter and we were riding through it and it was the 40s. I have a Rafa rain jacket that I got on sale. That did really well. And then I actually just wore wool leggings, which wool insulates when it's wet. And I stayed pretty much fine. And I mean, I ended up drenched bottom down and I was damp a little bit by the end of the day under here and I had all wool underneath it. But to me, that would be a rain jacket to try and keep the most out you can, and then wool stuff or other, stuff that'll insulate when it's wet. It depends on what you're trying to do too. I mean, if you're heading out to dinner, you probably don't want to show up to the restaurant soaking wet. But if you're, like for us, we were starting in one place and ending in an Airbnb where we peeled everything off and had hot showers and stuff like that, so. Charles said he likes Swerve clothing, anything using Cordura, not necessarily waterproof. Yeah, even my Cordura bags will get wet after a while. I have Swerve shorts that I love, but that has nothing to do with waterproof, but they're quality shorts. Reliable waste, what's up? You said neoprene on the cold and wet days? Yeah. Chris said wool base and windproof shell. Yeah, I think that's kind of, every ride is a race. Sam, I think it does, or back to the gravel, like the race bike thing, does it have anything to do with gravel races becoming more popular? I think it does, and I mean, obviously the big brands use pros to sell their stuff, and I understand that, so a bike wins a race or a bike is seen in a race and then consumers are going to buy it. That's the traditional model for road cycling. Gravel races, though, there's so many people who go out and their goal is to complete it, and that's not, so like they always say, the mullet thing, business in the front, party in the back is what a gravel race is. And I agree, there's such a huge demographic that shows up for those events that they're racing themselves. Just like, I always say like a marathon, yeah, there's people out in the front who are trying to win it and trying to win their age group. Most of the people, the 90% are out there to complete a marathon or to get their personal best time. And they know what shoes they're wearing, just like with your bike. To me, if I went to a gravel race and a fancy, what is Pinarello's gravel bike, it has something with a G in it. But again, would have made me 15 minutes faster. I don't care if I'm going to compare it to how I did last year or how I feel like I did. It's not the actual time that I care about. I don't know if that makes any sense. Muskrat said, Gore Shake Dry is supposed to be the best. I use Showers Pass. I wonder if that stuff's going to get snapped up quick since they're not making it. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate that comment. Oh yeah, Raymond State made a Wu-Tang bike. They made two of them. I just saw them today. What, a single speed and then like a clunker. Yeah. What was I had something on in the background while I was working. Dimitri, yeah, you said you were looking at a state or an all city, but found a used Jameis that had some upgrades already. That's a big thing that I. That's a big thing that I think of too. Like when people ask these questions, I don't think enough people do consider used. I mean, you can, man, to get a brand new bike with brand new components to go a couple years old because so many people want new bikes, you can get like for less money you can get better quality. I think people don't look at used enough. Um, if you decide to build a bike yourself, if you just buy the frame and then you want new components, that doesn't always work out because bike brands get such good deals on components. But yeah, if you can find like even people, it's like everything. People like the new color, they like the new this, the new that. You could save a lot of money going used and get something that's better. To stay in the Shimano world, like stay in that world. Like to get a used bike from a few years ago that could have Ultegra versus buying a new bike that has Claris or something, or I don't know. But State bikes are like a budget brand, but they use decent steel. Uh, I don't know of anyone having problems. Like a lot of times they'll use cheaper components like some lower microshift stuff even, but again, that's all upgradable. So if you buy a good steel frame, you could ride it. If you have a problem with any of that stuff, you could upgrade it down the road. I've continually upgraded my steel gravel bike over the years. It's barely running any components that I bought on it. So it's nice to get a good base that you could keep upgrading over time. Charles, you said you saw an Andy Hampstead mudslinger bike on eBay. Nice. Chris, you go sweatpants? I can't do sweatpants because the wind goes right through them. But I haven't owned sweatpants in 30 years. So gravel races are about slamming beers. Yeah. Musgrave said you picked up Columbia Outdry at Aurora Farms outlet for like 50 bucks. Used to be nearly 400. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I don't own any like rain stuff for the bottom. Like I said, wool insulates, so I have a couple pairs of like wool leggings, tights, and one that's like a modern blend, so it won't stretch and wear out quite as much, a little thicker. And those are, I think they're made by Smartwool actually. But I just, I'm not that hardcore that I'm gonna ride in like really cold rain that much. But I get that people do it. State is a solid step up from department store. Yeah, I think it's a pretty decent step up from department store. Where do you go to look for used besides Craigslist? Craigslist is good. eBay is still pretty decent. eBay and Craigslist mostly, but a lot of shops will people will trade bikes in. So Otis at Dirty River actually will buy bikes off people, or when they upgrade, he'll give them a little bit of discount for their old bike. So he rebuilds a lot of times he'll rebuild an all city from like 2 years ago. And I think a lot of the smaller shops do that as well. So it's worth calling and asking. Some shops will help you too say you find part of a bike, help you finish building it. So if it's not your wheelhouse to totally build up a bike yourself. They're not against that as people think. So a lot of our friends, like there's specific bikes they really want that the shop doesn't carry, and they'll buy the frame online and then buy all the components and pay for the build at the shop as well. So Josh said your go-to right now is embrace the wet. if it's in the 20s, wool socks, tights under the shorts, synthetic sun hoodie, water resistant shell, beanie and gloves. I wear tights underneath my pants all winter long. I don't wear shorts in the winter. I wear if it's in the 20s, I'm definitely wearing pants over my leggings. But yeah, multiple. Like I just got one of these. These are the Surly wool. It's a little thicker and tougher. But then I was riding earlier. That's why. So I'm actually decked out in riding clothes. And then I have very thin, cheaper Amazon but wool base layers that I bought a number of them a few years ago. They're wearing out now, but few holes I don't mind. They're wool base layers. And then I actually wear the 45 North caps that are made out of wool. I put this on when I get home usually and switch that out. But steel Wu-Tang is forever. Oh, see you later, bye. BAH, whichever way you're going. Is that initials or? Yeah, 5:30 a.m. Yeah, get to bed. I'm so glad I don't have to get up that early anymore. No offense, but I used to have to be at the farm at 5:30 in the morning when I was a farmer, so farm worker. But pit zips are great for regulating body temp, especially in the winter. Yeah, I do really good with my. I have a really light, again, something I got on a good deal, Rafa windbreaker. One thing I love about it is it has a just a little clip right here, so that when you unzip it all the way, it doesn't go flying totally open. It keeps it almost like a cape. I wear that pretty much through every season except really hot summer riding. But I might even usually still have it on me in case it gets a little chilly at night. But like the windbreaker over everything is such a game changer. Like I always have one, and that's a big way that I regulate temperature is having that. And if I get too hot, if I unzip that, that's usually good. And now I like this because tonight I had that on and this, and I was riding most of the ride with just both of them unzipped, and it worked out well. So I wonder what that zipper sounds like with the mic right there. But pit zips too, and my Rafa windbreaker does have some venting in there, but it doesn't have zips. But Charles said, you have some soft shell knickers and an outdoor research ski mask you will put on for cold weather to scare people. I have like a more like face mask. I really find that once I get my body warm, I do fine pretty much with my face. Like it'll hurt on really cold days at first. I do always wear glasses because my eyeballs will dry out. But I'll even just the cotton bandanas I find I could pull up in if I'm really cold. But I find I don't like riding with stuff on my face, but that's just me because a lot of my friends do. So, Jay Dandy said Ohio City Co-op took in an all-carbon Cervelo time trial bike last week. Wow. I hope they just are able to sell that for money and then use it for other stuff. Oh, it's 10:38 already? Wu-Tang is what you have after a cold shower. I'm trying to, yeah, I do. I think my brother actually got it for me, and I've used it a couple times when we've gone out on really cold rides, but I just don't like riding with my face covered. I just don't like having my face covered, but a weird thing, I don't know. I think I might end it here, guys. I did not sleep well last night, so I'm thinking bedtime. But yeah, I enjoyed hanging out. This was a good chat. A lot of people. Sorry that I'm started out a little ranty, but I think most of us here are on the same page anyways. So, that's how it goes. Yeah, I don't really have anything in the works. I have a shoot on Thursday. I'm hoping to still be back. Maybe we'll actually work on the Marin, which I did actually, just so you know, I did actually put it on the stand. It's basically one of those things I was thinking if I worked on it on the stream, I would work on it. Whoa, we're real crooked here. Because I miss having that bike out on the road. I really, I don't need to fix that now. I'm about to sign off anyways. But yeah, I just miss having that as an option. And so it's a fun bike. So, and I have fenders on it, which this time of year, like talking about the rain, it's not always about the rain. It's about it rained all day and it stopped raining and the roads are still wet, and that's what fenders are awesome for. So, oh, Blackball, you asked about Rick. He didn't divulge, as he shouldn't, anything too personal, but he said he wasn't able to ride for a while, and he just kind of wanted to. He wasn't going to be around till he was able to, because he didn't want to hear a bunch of people having fun talking about riding when he can't ride. And it's a bummer. If you're friends with him on Instagram, send him a message and ask him if he's doing all right. So I feel bad for him. I don't know the details, but it is a bummer. I just know how I feel when I can't ride, so I need it for my mental health. Hey, Drew, thanks for dropping by. And yeah, hopefully see you guys on Thursday. That's what I started to say. I have a shoot, but I should be back in time. All right.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is
Fitzwater photo.